Hi. Welcome. All right, what's up, gamers? Can you hear me? Hell yeah. Something exciting about this panel is that we can swear. Yay! Okay. Take that, Neopets. I can say fuck here. Yeah! All right. Welcome to I Love Making Neopets. They're allowed to be gay now. Look at neopets.com in the 2020's. I'm Heron. This is Gray. Everybody's filtering in.
We're going to do a little introduction to the history of this panel itself. This is the third MAGFest series of the Gay Neopets saga.
This is the fourth one.
I'm stupid. This is the fourth one.
Can everybody hear both of us?
Good.
Okay, great.
We met today for the first time, so if we fight live on stage, that's bonus for you.
All right, so here's an outline for people who like to know what to expect. This is the history of the panel. Somebody needs to take a picture of this and tweet it so that we can put it the next time we do a panel. So Gray kept getting asked if they had done this panel, and it was like, no, this is some stranger's panel, but it was my panel that I came up with my middle school best friend in a Chili's, and Michaela, stand up. Michaela paneled with me for 2 years, but she just did a roller coaster tycoon panel. Anyway, there have not been a lot of Neopets panels in general. There has been some stuff on the West Coast with San Diego Comic-Con. I wanted there to be a Neopets panel. I was super excited that Gray did one. And
yes, I'm unfortunately a notorious Neopet furry, which is fine. There's worse things to be. And so I hosted a virtual pet site history panel at Anthrocon last summer, and by the powers that be, our two panels have come together to merge today to give you guys perspectives on what's been going on with Neopets in the present from someone who's way too much of a hardcore player, and for someone who's grown up with Neopets, that kind of legacy component as well. So let us introduce ourselves a little bit more.
Cool. All right, so my Neopets username is Yazzie. I go by Heron mostly now. I joined in 2002 because some friends played who were guys. I think, 60% of Neopets players currently are women? 70 according to data. So it's kind of in the same category a lot of games like The Sims or stuff where they're not viewed as heavy of games, but they're really, really popular with women. I was really into the Neopets community for art trading. I drew a lot on MS Paint. I got inspired to do a cosplay group because that was my primary nerd expression for a long time. I'm a chaotic bisexual person. We did How Neopets Taught Me to Lie and Made Me a Furry, The Rise and Fall of Neopets at MAGFest 2018 and 19. That was at a time where I was locked out of my main account and was mad at the site. I'm still mad at the site now, kind of, but I also love it, and I'm in my account, so that's great. I identify as an Animal Crossing furry, not a fursuit furry, so I'm not part of the furry fandom, but I like furry stuff. And since the last time I gave this panel, I had brain surgery. We all had a pandemic, so there's been a lot of time to play on Neopets. Those are my pets. Woo! I tried to make a mutant. Anyway, we can go on. This is my Ixie gallery. I love Ixies. Thank you. Okay. These are just some drawings that I did over the coronavirus shutdown because I get into Neopets in waves. This is my OC, Mr. Toilet. He's an art school teacher. And then Spudfish. She's sad because she can't wear clothes. She thinks she's oppressed because of it. And then a bunch of my Neopets smoke weed because that's legal in Virginia and I live in Virginia. Thanks, medical marijuana. And I got a bunch of art pieces commissioned of my Neopets over the summer. We did want to check before I forget. How many of you have played Neopets in the past week? Oh, okay, cool. Okay, past year. Ever. Okay, how many of you have never played Neopets?
Yeah!
Okay,
all right, so a little bit about myself. My name is Gray. I go by Virilli on Neopets. I'm primarily on the PC and the art boards. I'm a lifelong Neopets enthusiast. I'm really fond of the virtual pet site format as a whole. My original childhood fursona, if you squint in the corner, was basically a blue Dan but with the wings that Karo from Cardcaptor Sakura had. So that's how you know me as a person. named after one of the songs from the band that sings the Dragonosta Dinte song. So like time capsule, time capsule. I got really into Neopets, especially in middle school. I didn't get to have a lot of online access. I accidentally got really into the app chat and would write like 50,000 word masterpieces, being like, please give me a chia, which I think helped me get into college. So shout out to the app chat. I got really, really attached to my Dargan Curie. Her name is Kalia. I made her fursuit over the pandemic in a fit of depression. I love Dargan Curie. They're my favorite. And so a lot of my Neopets nostalgia is centered around Dargans and appreciating them and connecting the lovely Tenko stand-up. Check out my buddy, the Dargan fursuiters. Connecting the furries who are part of the Neopets community to the broader community. I'm insane, and I play Neopets with spreadsheets. Like, everything I do, I've got a Google Doc. The Google Doc's like, is the pet on the account? How old is it? What are the stats? How many items? Like, I'm a spreadsheet freak with Neopets, which I understand is not the norm. And the thing that really keeps me here on Neopets is that I really like to draw. So I learned how to draw digitally for Neopets, for creating my pets. I have every single pet slot full. This is a mistake. I have a design for a good 38 of them, and I can never quit the website because I will never finish every pet page, so I'm in it for the long haul. But that's really what keeps me here, is I love these funny little furries.
All right, so what is Neopets, for those of you who don't know? It's a lot of things.
We're going to save you guys the super long summary because this is not the panel or the hour for us to describe that. But to give the basics, Neopets opened in 1999. It was created as an online space for virtual pets, the first of its kind, primarily aimed at teens, kids, but like what kids had easy internet access in 1999, and then college students who had a lot of access to internet. Neopets itself has changed management a handful of times, which is kind of its greatest problem. If you'll go, that last slide that we saw shows what Neopets might look like on any given moment if you were to log onto the website. It's in a transitional stage right now. They've been attempting to use the mobile beta layout for a couple of years now. It will never leave beta, and it will never be completed. So get used to like 50-50 of your pages being the classic layout you've seen since 2007, and then the kind of clunky mobile format. So sorry. But Neopets itself has changed a number of times. It was owned in kind of its, what we might think of the prime, by Nickelodeon and Viacom. So when you were seeing Altador Cup ads on the TV, you were seeing the Jamba Juice collabs, the Neopets cereal. That was the Nickelodeon, the ad-heavy and revenue era of it all. It was then owned by Jumpstart. So Jumpstart, yes, the guys who made the educational games. They owned it for a long while. They recently, over the summer, closed. Their division of their company shuttered. And for the first time since 2000, my math here, 2005 or 6, Neopets is independently owned again. So Neopets is independently owned by Neopets, and they have more agency over themselves. So we'll give our PowerPoint a second here to continue to keep up with us. There we go. So one of the things that makes Neopets really interesting is that it is an SVE. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah. So as opposed to an MMO, which is a massive multiplayer online game, this is a shared virtual environment. So it's a less narrative play. So it's like a bunch of little side quests, but also it focuses on content creation. It's like you go into the game and you do what you want to do there. This is a book that I did not read all of, that you can find on the internet, called Games, Learning and Society, Learning and Meaning in the Digital Age. Another thing that made Neopets different than a lot of other aughts nostalgia is that it was free to play. So whereas Webkins, you had to buy one of the hippos, that's what I had, a hippo or whatever. Neopets, you could get on with dial-up as long as you had internet. You could get on it at the library computer. It was just really accessible. And not this article, but we're going to have a bunch of other articles that we reference in here on a link tree. We're going to get them up tonight after the panel, and then you can come and do all that reading.
We're going to acknowledge it before... We're going to acknowledge it before anybody asks questions later in the panel, but yes, Neopets briefly did have some connection to Scientology. It was not run by Scientology. It was not primarily owned by Scientology. The Neopet fan in your life wants you to stop quoting that fact at them. But yes, very briefly, it was part of the corporate funding structure that Neopets was under, and so they tried to get Neopets to integrate Scientology into it. They did not succeed. No Scientology ever went on the website. So having put that to the side, we're going to talk a little bit about...
Can a staff member change the input back? It's plugged in again.
Sorry. Much like Neopets, we are plagued by technical difficulties every moment of my life. Anyway, I'll keep talking while we're getting there. So what we're going to be talking about a little bit today is how we got to the point where we are now allowed to talk about our Neopets being gay. I'm sure a lot of us grew up using Neopets as a vehicle for character creation and exploration of stories, but for a long time we were working actively against the filters that did not want us to talk about our characters. I, as someone who used to write on the site a lot, if you have ever struggled like me trying to write the word document and Neopets being like, is that cum in the middle of your sentence every single time, you understand the struggle of even telling normal, safe for work stories in this space. So one of the things that is really interesting about Neopets in this time of transition right now is that it is trying to cater to its adult audience a lot more than it used to.
Turn it on again from your end?
Demographics released by the TNT staff at the beginning of this year shows that 70% of Neopets players are between 18 and 35. Most Neopets players are in this room's demographic. And so we're the people who kind of care. And they're doing a lot better at trying to engage that population who, number one, has money to spend on Neopets, but two, has the nostalgia that is drawing us all to the website. So raise your hand if you were really into Key Quest. Where are my Key Quest homies out there? Yeah, let's go. They said it's never coming back. I'm so sorry. Who here really was into customization? Who's a customization guy? Where are my NC whales? Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. I'm so sorry. So there are things that we cared about that connect us to it. For Neopets, right now in this time of transition, the biggest problem for it is finding its identity and finding a way to maintain the user base. So, and I'm so sorry you just have to hear me without visuals. We'll catch it up there. Right now what they're really pushing is this 25th anniversary of the site agenda. They really want everybody to know, yes, your Neopets are still alive. No, your Neopets cannot die. Yes, you should keep playing. And right now a lot of their initiatives are aimed at keeping retention to the people who woke up like 6 months ago and went, fuck, are my Neopets still around? With this 25th anniversary, they're really pushing a couple things as the reasons that you should stay. One, they're pitching a new plot. They're really going ham. For the first time, the Advent calendar was giving hints at some kind of plot component to it. Two, they have been teasing new paintbrush art for a little while. They've been trying to tease these designs, this mysterious silhouette that some big, probably plot-relevant paintbrush is being integrated. And they're also, and this is the real big one, promising to return unconverted pets to our website. Before I am the bearer of weird news, raise your hand if you watched the live stream last night. Oh, good. This is my job. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. I'll save that for later so that you stay. So part of why I'm on the panel today is as someone who's pretty active in the site, I've gotten to see some of the messes that Neopets has been in the last couple years. And a big part of that is around unconverted Neopets. So unconverted Neopets is a terminology that we're going to use throughout the panel. If you think about classic Neopets art that you would have had as a kid or would be on the McDonald's toys tag or something, those classic unique art styles is what we call unconverted art. If you started playing Neopets after 2007, after the conversion, you probably had a Neopet that had a standard style pose so that it could hold something in its hands and wear a jacket. So in 2007, when Neopets was obtained by Viacom and Nickelodeon, they moved towards introducing the Neocash Mall, the pay-to-play component of the website. And at the time, they really wanted to emphasize this is just for customization. This is not to give you an advantage whatsoever in the game. And so that's what they pushed for. However, it was widely unpopular. Many of you stopped playing at the conversion. Because what happened was, out of all of the Neopets available, they picked a very small, arbitrary collection of Neopets. The gray Neopets, the fairy Neopets, and then even out of them, they said, the fairy Neopets are cool, but fuck the Chia, man. Fuck the Akara. We don't want to keep them. Or they said, oh, we like the Royal Girls, but like only 7 or 8 of them. So without giving players any warning, you wake up, it's April 2007, you log in to say good morning to your best friend, Chia_15, the yellow Kachik, and all of the art style has changed, the website looks completely different, and it's all on fire. So ever since the loss of the unconverted Neopets, players have been longing for that. And one way that has been done is through fan site engagement. Do you guys, anyone in here play Grendo's Cafe? Yeah. Anyone ever play Neopets back in the day? Okay, a couple of you guys. Modern Neopets? All right. So there's a lot of fan sites that have tried to preserve the original layout of the website and keep people engaged. So we'll get to the unconverted Neopets in a little bit because I have some very funny drama to share with you guys about that. Just treat the rest of this panel as an extended hobby drama post because that is what this is about to be.
I don't have a mouse.
So, to keep us moving along. Neopets itself still has a presence on the website, but because of the heavy filtering, a lot of us go to other places to talk about it. One is the Neopets Nation Facebook. Another is the Neopets Reddit. Neopets Reddit Discord, which is kind of accidentally the unofficial Neopets Discord by proxy. And then, of course, other fan sites that exist. Neopets Nation is my favorite because it is all of your favorite Facebook moms and like angry 28-year-old lesbians, and we've been put in a PvP environment, and you will trade me your pet. But we will talk about that a little bit later. The Reddit tends to maintain a very purist tone to its environment. It wants everyone to know that they are upstanding citizens in the Neopets Reddit. And TNT members also use that Reddit as a place for official announcements. So, one of the things that we're going to talk about, I will just keep talking. Thank you for listening to my voice, friends. You are all my prisoners now. One of the things I'm going to just keep talking about in our play-by-play here is the Neopets NFTs and the metaverse. Yes. Thank you. So, and I promise we will backtrack for the visuals because there is a visual in this slide that I cannot let you leave this panel without seeing.
Hang on. We got it. 5,
Great.
4,
Don't count.
3,
Don't jinx it.
2, 1, half, 1/4.
Yes. Thank you.
Hang on.
We're getting there.
1/8.
1B. We're getting there.
1/16.
Great. Can you take me to the NFT slide? Get me there. We'll get me there. So the NFTs are an interesting part of Neopets. The CEO at the time was really interested in integrating NFTs into Neopets in some way. The way this was done was very unsuccessful. They did a cryptocurrency-style card project that completely flopped prior to their official NFTs announced. The NFTs, however, I think are really funny because they were universally hated by basically everyone. So for some context, the Neopets NFTs were meant to be minted in a number of 10,000. Only about 3,800 of them ever got printed. And in the attempt to launch these NFTs, scammers ended up getting the people trying to buy the NFTs to lose $70,000 by creating up fake wallets and fake accounts in order to scam them when buying them. The NFTs also utilized stolen technology from Dress to Impress, honestly the backbone of the Neopets customization. We'll get there. And it universally pissed off everyone. So to keep going, this picture is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. About 5 months ago, Donna and Adam, the original founders of Neopets.com, came into the Neopets Reddit Discord server to shill their new game, talk about dragons, be like, hey guys, we want you to care about this. By the way, there's an NFT crypto element. To which the Neopets fandom said, we all fucking hate NFTs. To which Adam threw an incredible fit where he told us that he fucking hates Neopets. He wishes he had never made it. He is going to buy Neopets. That is not an issue for him. And he's going to ruin it into the ground. He also ended up sending this incredible selfie of him flipping off the Neocord, which recently a Neopets Nation member got made as a birthday cake. So that tells you kind of our current feelings about this.
And he posted a receipt. It was at Dairy Queen. It was like $49.
Amen.
I'm going to go back now that we've got some slides again.
Yeah, we're going to recap just a little bit. Thanks for letting me just talk at you. There we go.
Okay, this is the pastel 25th anniversary logo. This is the pet trade,
Is
R.I.P.
this
pet
any
trade.
of you? Any of these usernames in this room? No, just kidding, don't worry. We wanted to acknowledge the roleplay boards still out there. Yes, there we go. Cool, I can keep us moving if you get us caught up. Excellent, excellent. All right, so one of the things we want to talk about right now is the state of the economy.
All right, so Neopets has wrecked its own economy, and it's been really, really fun. So the site has changed over time. In 2023, they released a bunch of stamps. So you have a stamp album, and once a stamp goes in there, it is in there forever. This Braintree stamp Scary Tree stamp was released 20 years ago as a mystery pick prize, so they gave it out to a couple hundred people. During the Fairy Festival, they gave out a really powerful Battle Dome weapon that you could technically get in the site, but it was really hard. You had to do a bunch of quests. They also implemented this thing called daily quest, weekly quest, really without any sort of indication of how long it's going to go on for or anything, and you'll just get like a pet that's really, really rare or sought after as a prize, and then the prize is for just doing something like essentially a Trudy surprise equivalent, feed a Neopet customized equivalent, paintbrushes, all sorts of fun stuff. This is the prize pool.
Yeah, right? Real ones will know that the stargazing background goes for 30 to 60 million Neopoints.
I'm just really happy that it's crashed the price of paintbrushes because since KeyQuest was down, it's been a lot more expensive to get paintbrushes.
Mystical Tablet from their broken mobile game was going for over 100 million Neopoints. So they're just like, here's 100 mil, have a good one. Like, okay, thanks guys, sure.
So some more, I want to call this deflate. Some people have been saying there's inflation, deflation. It's really supply and demand, and they have just put a lot more supply in Candy Chan. So everybody kept saying, like, no way they're going to give us Candy Chan for the Advent calendar, because for the Advent calendar, you used to get, like, a Christmas paintbrush. Maybe. They gave out so much shit that was worth so much. Everybody who was poor and was really excited to complete their Snowy Valley albums were posting. They were so happy they got another avatar. But then you had these people with the 700 million Neopoint item. And this is the kind of stuff also that people would buy on the black market in addition to pets, because you would have these collectors. And it is not easy to make 700 million Neopoints. I've had like 10 million at most in my life ever. So this has been fun. Another fun thing is that Neopets has started making some pet designs that are cute.
They've really stepped up the pet design game. For a long time, there was this lull where every single pet day you were like, oh, custard and biscuit again, you shouldn't have. Like, we were really in this creative lull for the team. A lot of the great things happening in the site right now are with a lot of the wonderful customizable outfits. And one of my favorite things that's been happening is that the Neopets team has been using audience and user suggestions to create some of their pets. So the Moroccan Kiko up there, the burlap cow, the Jetsam, and the Lutari in the bottom corner, the iDog. Those were all actually user-submitted designs that were tweaked a little bit by TNT and then released. So this is something that fan sites have had as something that they've done for a long time, but seeing this become part of the official Neopets process has been really cool and exciting. I have some friends who got their pets made official recently. I run a pet page, /Wiggly colorful, where people put their suggestions. So if you have a pet suggestion you want me to host, please send it in. So it's been really cool to see that kind of great new era.
However, not all of their new pets were well received. So this is the Tyrannian Chompy. Who was here for Chompy Day? Who was here for this? This was wild. So you were so mad. Did you have one? Did you make one? How'd you feel? Okay, so they made this Chompy on the left, and people were really split over if they liked it or not, because it's not, quote, on model. It's got these more, like, big eyes. It's got colored line art. It's got a tail that kind of looks like a dick. So what TNT did was, after people made this, they went and they updated the art. And Tyrannian paintbrushes are like what? How many million?
Oh, don't ask me that.
I don't know. They're expensive.
No, they're
so
not.
Usually TNT does not change art after a pet is released. I say after they made that announcement yesterday that they're changing a bunch of art, of
We'll
course.
get there.
But there's been some downs along with the ups. But it's mostly been ups.
All right, so now we're going to go and talk a little bit more about the LGBT component of the website. So right? All right, so to get a little sentimental, Neopets has always been an environment where exploring gender identity and presentation was just not a big deal at all. Your pet could change gender 8-9 times in a week. It could be the only thing that happened in the lab till you get angry about it. Like, okay, stop being trans, let's go, let's change pink, please. You could change your own identity on the site by changing what your gender was presented as pretty easily. One of the things that was pretty common if you grew up at the same time as I did is that adults would say, oh, it's not safe to be a girl online. So a lot of us would set our gender as male and wake up one day like, wait a second. So it was somewhere that it was safe to have that anonymity and explore your own identity for both how you presented on the boards and for your pets themselves. There was a glitch for a little bit where your account, if it was new, would have its gender set to robot. And some people were like, hey, wait, that fucks. And so eventually we got the other option now, which is pretty cool.
But there was a different era.
It wasn't always good.
This is the real DeviantArt image that I found.
We went looking for like really Catholic Neopets fan art. It's out there, but we couldn't find what we're looking for, so please take this instead. So for a long time, like I mentioned earlier, filtration of how people express themselves was pretty common. You could get banned for talking about yaoi or yuri, any kind of sexual identity, any kind of, if you had a rainbow signature and it read a little bit too much like a pride flag, most people would turn the blind eye, but if somebody reported you like, this is gay behavior, technically the staff would have to ask you to clear your signature. So this would happen in all kinds of different ways around the site. I love this example here. Neopets won't let me say pot or gay, but they will let you say piss. All right. Let's go. We also had examples where harmless celebrations of identity were being banned as well. Non-binary, this adorable little chia here, was created and then deleted, put into what is called bad user, terrible place where names that are deemed inappropriate go.
And this Neopet was deleted because somebody on Neopet Nation snitched. A lot of names get completely unnoticed that are crazy as long as you shut your mouth about it and people are nice to you. Like, somebody was just being mean. Look at how cute this guy is. Sorry, I had to interrupt because
breaks your heart. Anyway, he's been freed, but... So I'm going to explain the saga of why you are allowed to be gay on Neopets now, because it is partially my fault, and I will carry that clout for the rest of my life. Thank you. So everything changed December 2020 with an event we call Wifemiss. Wifemiss has a great hobby drama post that is posted about... The great hobby drama post that was posted about it. If you want to read the full story, this will be in the link tree. Long story short, accounts, these here, Big John and Nana's Pretty Pets, were giving out free and converted pets to celebrate Christmas on the PC. Big John, a gay man, was talking about his husband in the most casual passing ever and got silenced for mentioning that he had a husband on site. People felt pretty bad about that, like, oh shit, like he was doing a great thing for the community, just mentioning his husband in passing got him to be silenced for, I can't remember the time, but X amount of time. People went to defend him on the boards, like, hey, that wasn't fair for Big John. Some transphobia occurred. People called out the transphobic and homophobic people who were talking in the chat. They got silenced for trying to talk about the fact that it was transphobic and homophobic. My whole friend group got really, really mad. And so we turned to Twitter angrily, as you do. They were muting people for saying things like, I am gray and cannot do math. Like, is there nothing sacred? This is our one joke. And so a couple of one of my friends reached out to Tony P., infamous member of the Neopets staff, as far as support tickets go. You've probably had a bad experience with Tony if you've ever had a ticket from him. Reached out to Tony, tried to articulate that, like, hey, this is inappropriate. Also, it's 2020 and this is Neopets. Can we please talk about nuance here? To which the answer was a resounding fart sound from TNT. So here's a lovely screenshot of me yelling at Neopets on Twitter. If you look at any of Neopets' Twitter posts of the week of like the 17th to the 20th, 2020, all the comments on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter are like, hey, Neopets, you hate gay people? Hey, Neopets, would you like to comment on how much you hate gay people? It's everyone trying to get them to get there. So it's Christmas week. The PR team is tired. That social media intern is over it. And after a good long week of bullying, we finally break them. which leads to this legendary editorial here. So this editorial is a lot of text for this moment, but basically it summarizes them going, "You were right and we're sorry," and allowed them to finally say, "We want Neopets to be inclusive." Yeah, give it up for that. So they finally said, yes, you may talk about your identity, you may come out yourself, you may speak about your own identity, you may not out others, you may not use any of these language that we're unbanning to cause harm to others. They said that at the time of this announcement that they would finally get rid of the filter on gay on the boards, but they had to figure out how to do that first. So it did take them like a couple months to actually get that filter off, but they did follow through on their promise. One of the really cool things they did was release a lot of those names, like non-binary, that had been punished back into the economy, into the pound, I guess. Keep going. Not everyone was happy. This is one of my favorite screenshots of this time. This is someone who wants us to know that it's really overwhelming that you can be gay on Neopets now. I'm happy for y'all, but I don't want it in my face, especially on Neopets. Be who you are, love who you are. But this is still Neopets. So there was definitely a response to that. Others responded well.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Cool. This is my pet page because I stared at the pound and refreshed until lesbians dropped in that pound. If you have a lesbian Neopet, please submit to my directory, please. We also led to a lot of discourse immediately because thanks, gay people. So the pet queer, which is, of course, a reclaimed slur, was released into the pound as well, which was then caught by a straight ally who wanted us to know that they were an ally, but also that they really liked the name queer, which led to like 4 weeks of infighting, it's fine. I forgot to put up a screenshot of it, but I got Alice to unban Dyke. Let's go.
One of our fun panel planning moments was me going, "Oh, you're why I have the Neopet Miss Dyke. Thank you."
Happy to help.
She's a hissy and a pop star.
And we've also led to just more positive moments on the site. Gay rights, we love to see it. But also in the recent Advent calendar, we had the inclusion of families of different arrangements, including gay parents, which is really cool to see in official site art. This is one of my favorite Neotimes comics that has ever been published, but it was really cool to see the site include in the Neopian Times the celebration of transness through this Kiri. I just think this is just both beautiful art and just that great feeling of finally being able to talk about identity here on the website. I'm also definitely a sports guy for my Altador Cup fans. We also have Neopets' first canonical sapphic character. I say that every character's gay on Neopets. They're all lesbians. But we have the first canonically acknowledged sapphic character in the Altador Cup from last year, which was pretty cool to see. There is also now more than this, but a variety of pride flags that you can use. There are handheld ones, there are pride wearables, there are a number of pride flags that can be worn behind your pet. So there's a lot of cool ways for you to show that pride as well now. And then we have slightly mixed feelings about it as somebody who owns this $40 fanny pack.
Me too.
But Neopets does have a pride collection that's available at all times. 10% of the proceeds to it goes to charity. It should be more than that. So we all were a little bit pissed off when they were like, yeah, we know that you couldn't say gay for 25 years, but $40 fanny pack. But it's still nice at the end of the day to see things, and the pride flag paintbrushes do kind of fuck.
All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what the community did to combat this homophobic era. The Neo tag was really big on Tumblr back in the day. Tumblr's still around, but I was on it back in the day. And people used their HTML coding skills to hide pets' gender, and they shared this. They made memes.
Yeah.
Tag yourself. I made merch. I started off making a couple of these, and then I had requests for additional colors. I put these on Etsy. Neopets has some designs similar to this as t-shirts now. There was this zine, which was 2020 as well. All of this stuff happened like the year before they decided to say, make gay okay. This was a freezine. You can go find it online where people did artwork, and a lot of it focused on personal identity and then their pets being queer. But even if you're not a furry, you can appreciate the gay fairies. That's what I say about Neopets. Sometimes people are wrong. There are people who have written about Illicit and Jadora because Neopets has a lot of user-submitted content where people are running with ideas, and because the fairies will refer to other fairies just as a whole, as sisters. People have been like, this is incest. No, they're gay. But we're going to talk about this first. This is a really good thread. They're just talking about how every single one of the fairies is gay in this. The soup fairy helped me out when no one else would, but then shut me out when I had money. It's a complicated relationship, but I love her. So back to these guys. So Illicit and Jadora are two characters that have quests. So the Illicit's wand was earlier. It's a really good battle dome weapon. You have to do stuff that's progressively rare. But look at these items of their lore. Jadora's secret, the stalking set, this book you could get in a recent plot. I just don't think that it's normal to have a snow globe with your enemy where you're both dolls and there's like glitter in it. I don't think that's, I think that's homo. These are both Neopets' official images. So this was a caption contest.
Good for her.
Good for her. Good for both of the hers here. And then on April Fool's Day of this, or last year, Nick Neopia did this. So this was a thing where there were just different like Neopets conspiracy theories. It was very like a Charlie Day, Always Sunny, Pepe Sylvia. But this is the most that they have talked about Illicit and Jadora being gay on the site. And it was very exciting. Another thing this year has been the Fairy Festival, which had this picture of Illicit, like every other dialogue, where she's biting her finger like that, like when she's talking to Jadora. When you signed up, you got to pick one of the teams. They had these necklaces. I thought they were going to confirm something. They didn't, but a staff member has said, Team Illidor for life, so this is some good confirmation here.
Thanks, Counterfeit.
There's been a lot of really cute fan art for these two. I have some friends who cosplayed them for Halloween who are lesbians. It's been a good time for lesbians who like Neopets and just anybody who likes Neopets. There's also been some spicy art.
We do both own that pin.
Yeah, we both own it.
Everything.
It's good.
All right, so we're going to give you guys a moment, take a breather, reset all of us from our technical difficulties earlier. So we have some prizes that we're going to give away at the end of the panel. We 3D printed a tiny avatar collector trophy, and we have some Neopoints to give away. So I want you right now to just remember and think about this for the remaining 30 minutes of our panel. If you think you have the oldest account in the room, the rarest Neopet according to PC trading standards, which are, I will explain those in this panel, and are also dead, most Neopoints on hand right now, or the most avatars, or the highest gourmet cumulative score, at the end of the panel, we are going to have you come up to the Darrigan Bori, we will judge you, and we will give you a prize. So take a moment to think about if you qualify for any of these awards. Think about it. In your bank.
All right, now we're going to talk about being gay and doing crimes.
All right. Okay, so transitioning a little bit, I like to talk about one of my favorite things in the hobby drama component of Neopets, and that is the Neopets black market and the trading economy. You didn't see the visuals earlier about unconverted pets, but that's okay. Here's some great examples of them right now. Unconverted pets, being that old art style, are basically the backbone of the cheating side of Neopets since the conversion in 2007. Because after the conversion, the only unconverteds available to the player base were the ones that already existed. Or so we thought. We'll get there. Neopets could be purchased through user-to-user purchases or through cheating websites. If you Google, like, buy Neopoints now, set sites like that. And the average range and cost of an unconverted Neopet goes from about $10 to, for a very well-named high-tier pet, about $250 to $300 USD. Consistently purchased and at one point market regulated at these costs, which was crazy. To give some context, Neopets in the trading market are given values by the users. So all trading was kind of given quantity and quality by the users themselves. You could not trade pets officially until the pound opened again after conversion, April 2008. After that, Neopians created this system. Well-named or very well-named tends to be, depending on who you're talking to, 7 or 8 letters or less, capitalized, pronounceable, and no S at the end. Well-named pets are pets that were like maybe longer letters, it sounded okay to say, maybe it was a nice name but it wasn't capped. DN or like decently named, maybe a compound name, all underscores, maybe something that had like broken up or was framed with like XX, kitty pet XX or something like that. And then bad named, which is like Heart Star 0015, Kitty Dolphin 15 America, or like some name that was just gibberish and you wrote it as a child. So that's the name system.
Something unique about Neopets is that each of your Neopets has its own name and it cannot be changed. So you can change your gender, but you can't change your name. You're stuck with it forever.
There is also a user-created 10-tier system ranging from Tier 1 to Tier 10, Tier 1 being the worst, Tier 10 being the rarest. And within those tier systems, there was like subgenres of rarity and desirability. Annually, users would vote in the PC to move these pets around different tiers. If you were thinking, man, I just thought they looked cute. No, there is an economy here. And that economy is in shambles, but we'll get there in a second. Thank you, Ron. One of the things that made Neopets such a great site for cheating is that it literally is spaghetti code. It's like held together by paper clips. Borovin here, this is Adam, so this is the creator of Neopets, letting us know that the reason that the site data was stored in a plain text document is because he didn't know what he was fucking doing. So the Neopet user data has been leaked a number of times. It got leaked once in a full plain text data document. They said, oh no, we're so sorry. It got leaked again. It was still a plain text document. We said, did you learn nothing? They learned nothing. It was leaked a third time, and then most recently in 2022, it was leaked and then held ransom for 4 Bitcoin. Nobody paid the ransom, but that's a thing that happened. So your Neopets user data is probably the least secure data that you have on the whole entire internet. And a lot of people for a long time would ask people with the leak to help them get back into their accounts as opposed to using the actual ticketing system, because that was harder to do. If you want a really great recap of some of the drama that broke the camel's back, this Polygon video here breaks down how this one Darrigan Loopy who was stolen, the user who used to own this pet came back. It was like, where the hell did my Loopy go? And then had them reversed and traded back to them, which set off a chain of events that has led us to the current mess that we're in. So I mentioned briefly that we thought there was a finite number of Neopets that were unconverted. This was not true. 2021, 2 owners of one of the most popular Neopets cheating website got into a fight. One of them came to the boards and said, I'm over it, I'm done, I'm not going to work with you anymore. This guy has been illegally generating unconverted pets. Here is a list of 2,000 Neopets that have illegally been unconverted or made fake. Neopets forever used to be like, oh, we can never bring unconverted pets back. It's way too hard. It's back-end coding. It's impossible. If you were a child and you accidentally converted your pet and you felt bad about it and asked them to fix it, they'd be like, oh, that fucking sucks. We can't do that. Turns out, it was literally an unprotected URL that did not require you to be logged in or have admin tools. You could type any pet name in your pet name here, and if you change that value at the end to 1, instant unconvert back. My friend had somebody just toggle their unconverted pets for a bit on the boards for a while. So it was just a link. And then when Neopets got called out for this, they said, oh no, we secured it. They just made it so that the value was -1 instead of 1. And then we found it again, and we said, did you fucking not change this again? And they went, oh no. So it's not this anymore, but Neopets did lie to us for like 15 years about whether or not this was fixable. And so the controversy that came from this, Neopet users being like, are you really going to reverse 2,000 trades from people who did not know, or maybe did, know that they had a hacked pet? And Neopets were quaking in their boots. They were like, oh, fuck. So they said, those pets are fine. They can stay in the economy. And we will finally bring the unconverted pets back. So it's time to explain the AMA from yesterday and probably what a lot of you guys are curious about. Yesterday had an AMA in the evening talking about reintroducing unconverted pets, which will be launching on the 23rd of January this month. Woo!
That's like Tuesday, right?
Tuesday, it's like next week.
And they still don't know how much they're going to cost.
They don't know how much they're going to cost. So we'll get there. They have not announced it yet. They're working on deciding how much. Essentially, on this live stream, TNT members came together to say that for the first wave, they will be introducing 3 colors to start with. So fairy pets, gray pets, and Dargan pets are going to be available to purchase on the 23rd of January. Let's go. This comes, however, with some downsides that are a little bit weird. We're all still processing this. The Neopets community is in shock right now. So here's the thing. Hear me out here. Unconverted pets are coming back, but all pets are going to be converted. All of them. And then pets that are currently unconverted are going to be immediately rewarded this Style Studio item to let them look unconverted. And anyone else can purchase Style Studio items to make their pets look unconverted, even if your pet is not painted that. So I could have a yellow Ixie and have the Style Studio item and have an unconverted fairy Ixie. So it seems to be species locked, not color locked. You don't need to have your pet painted that color for it to work. And all unconverted pets are getting converted with the ability to toggle it on and off, and old pets will get a trophy. So that's a lot of, which is kind of all, can you all say it with me? Which is how we are all feeling right now, I think.
So the biggest haunt to me is this fairy Ixie. I have wanted an unconverted, this art fairy Ixie since 2002 when I started playing Neopets. And they also kind of, I feel, misled us on this AMA what the art they were updating is, because the art on Pop has really, really light lines. That is not how it looks on the site. So you can see the one on the right is more close to what it could look like. I have to toggle this.
So all Neopets art was done in Flash, and it still, I believe, is till this day. And a lot of the line art for these older pets is literally a 1 pixel line art width. So it looks really weird when it was converted to customization Flash. So they've actually been doing a really great job of redrawing a lot of the art style, but there are some that the users are not super fond of yet.
Yeah, they have, but I'm going to quote this Facebook user. He needs his eyeliner and falsies. He's a glam kind of Ixie. I need someone to include this lad back in the gay agenda right now. They took out his eyelashes.
Anyway, they have heard our community feedback on the Ixie. Most of you are like, it looks fine. No, when I tell you that there is a war for blood happening in Neopets Nation as we speak.
I'm still probably going to buy one and have a really good time. I'm excited. I'm going to be able to have, we'll see.
I genuinely think that this is going to be a good thing for Neopets. Yes. It's going to be really interesting to see the PC exist without unconverted pets being a thing that they can trade in that space. It seems that unconverted pets, this item is going to be something traded on the Neocache boards, so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with, can you do unconverted pet adoptions because it's a USD item? I don't know. So this leaves a lot of questions, but I can tell you right now, it's going to be things like names, the unconverted pets, glitch pet names, things like that are probably going to be the PC's new obsession. So we're going to transition a little bit now that we've been the bearers of that news to you about unconverteds. I actually think it's going to be a great thing. I'm pro-change for Neopets because it's better than what we've had. Woo!
And I honestly thought you might be upset today because you have UCs and I didn't have UCs. So I was like, is Greg going to be mad because their UCs are getting converted? But no, they're like,
if I can look at my little pixels, I'm okay.
It's good.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about Neopets in the real world a little bit, which mostly means just expressions of fandom. All right, so we've got some Neopets tattoos. Some of these are images I shared previous panels, so I don't have credits. These are ones that people shared on the Neopets subreddit. So a lot of the Neopets tattoos people have gotten have been color items or some of their favorite Neopets.
So I did a very brief panel, again, at Anthrocon. I like to acknowledge the official Neopets fursuits before I bust out some of the amazing fandom ones. If you might remember, the Loopy, Lord Cass, and the Scorchio are from the Mall Tour and the TCG releases. They still bring them out to the Neopets San Diego Comic-Con events, so you can still go take pictures and hang out with them at some of those events that they bring them to. I also am scared of, but respect, this new walk-around suit that they got for Comic-Con this year. I'm a little afraid. So there are a lot of really amazing Neopets fursuits, and that's something that's really changed. And just based on, I think, one, skill, and two, money for the people who have them. There are a lot of really amazing suits that have been made. I love how many Bori there are. There are a lot of Bori out there. Again, one with us today. A lot of Drakes, a lot of Dargans. I'm obsessed with the Yerbil. He looks like a grandpa and also my best friend. Steph here on the left is one of the biggest Neopets merchandise collectors. They are super nice. You may meet them if you're ever at one of the Neopets San Diego Comic-Con events. It's Tenko. It's that guy. Yeah. A lot of Drakes. I love the very, very sweet talk so much. Absolutely precious. Again, Dargan Drakes. And it's really cool to see things like transparent pets represented in a costume form, which is something that I didn't really think you could do, which is pretty cool. Big fan of the Usul and everything going on with them. And it's really cool to see even some of the more unpopular characters out there. So like a Juma Pet, like, good for you, fun. Or a Fire Ogren, like, yeah, I'm glad that that's your fursona. That rocks. Bright is a really popular one. You may have seen Bright the Rainbow Kugra on TikTok or online. Super nice, super charming, captures the Neopet style really well. There's me a couple years ago at KatsuCon. Never fursuit at KatsuCon, guys. It's a war zone. It's bad. Sorry, good job. I try. We had our meetup again at Anthrocon this year, so it was really fun to see a lot of people come out and kind of acknowledge together, like, oh yeah, I am a furry because of Neopets. That was a nice solidarity moment.
So we've also got some fairy cosplays. I'm cosplaying Illison right now, and I did a fairy cosplay group in 2015, and that was part of what got me hype about Neopets. I was like, oh, doing Neopets at a con is great, except for people calling me Tinkerbell, but I'll live with that. This is Momo Carino, who has done like a ton of Neopets fairies cosplays, and they're just all really amazing. These are a couple others. These are people these are people that we both know just through cosplaying together. It's fun. You should cosplay Neopets. If you've thought about it, do it.
This is your sign.
And now like, you can tweet out to Neopets and they'll like repost your stuff and stuff. This is me at the panel in 2018 and my friend's doing Soup Fairy. And part of the reason that we cosplayed it back then, but also that we got mistaken, was because there was this lull in when there was a lot of merch that came out when Jumpstart owned Neopets. So for the last couple of years, they've had a push to make money through merch. And for a long time, Neopets originally, like early 2000s, made its money through marketing data and through advertisement. They had like the shirts at Limited too, but it was largely like having children take surveys and then selling that information. But now they're like, oh, you people are 30, you have money. So they've done a lot of blind boxes. There's some Hot Topic merch, which is really hit or miss. It's mostly miss, which is sad. I am a sucker for the tie-dye stuff. I really want Neopets to stop just using stock art of the Neopets where they're supposed to be holding stuff. There's so much beautiful art. And, like, as we can see from them bringing back UCs, like, there is demand for this old-style art, or just really art that's not just, like, exactly the same pose. I'm not trying to shit on Neopets too much. I just have a lot of opinions. I really like this shirt. It goes so hard. This just dropped like last week. Not the Shop Wizard one. That one's okay. But I don't have premium, so the Shop Wizard always lets me down. They've done some experimental stuff, I would say. This is a like high-end jewelry line that they made. They were mostly like $80 or so. You could get like cufflinks or a necklace. And they've done some other experimental stuff at Geekify. There's a full tarot deck they did that's really beautiful. They've done some pen series. And also, you can get your Neopet just like printed out now.
You want that tarot deck for Christmas.
Yeah. They also let you customize stuff. So when I had brain surgery, I was like, it'd be really funny. Let's see if they'll send me this shirt. So I spent $40 on this fanny pack, and then I got this shirt, which I can never wear anywhere. I could have worn it here, but I didn't. It's fun.
All right, so we have just a tad bit more time here at the end where we wanted to explain some of the more stupid drama that comes from the Neopets Nation side of our fandom, and just some of the little things going on in the background. I'm so sorry in advance. So Neopets Nation, again, being this space where it's weed-smoking 28-year-olds and also every Facebook mom you've ever met, and it's people who are the hardest core PC traders and also people who forgot that unconverted pets haven't been around and wake up one day and they're like, oh my God, you can't just paint your pet like that anymore. And you're like, where have you been, Melinda? It is a bad environment for us to all get along sometimes. For a while, we had some issues. This is Blep. Blep's owner would post borderline fetish content of them and some of their other pets on Neopets Nation. Very normal Neopets moms would be like, great art. And the rest of us would be like, did you see the feet? You can't post this, which would then lead to the cycle of us talking about on Neopets Nation what is appropriate for the Facebook shared space and what is not appropriate for the Facebook shared space. They eventually had to make a Discord for Blep because Blep was not appropriate for the Facebook shared space. But that leads us to the most exciting Neopets Nation thing of the last year.
Chombussy! All right. So we had Chompy Day. We had a lot of focus on Chompy, which is not normally that coveted Neopet. No shade to Chompy, but this made it through the filters, and Neopets Nation just thought it was the funniest thing. Because of course they deleted it. They got rid of it. They nuked Chombussy. And there were a lot of memes. So like before, we had people... Yeah, everything makes me think of Chombussy, etc. This was really beaten into the ground, but it was funny. What else do I have? Chombussy is my Roman Empire. And then people kept making other pets that were named Goofy. So another well-known Neopets event that was sexual is the Neopocalypse. So this is when Jumpstart bought the site, and Neopets doesn't really staff its site on the weekends. So the boards were just nuts. And people were commenting on this who had 15-year-old accounts just, I would fuck the Grundo because it looks like Shrek. Sure. Minion roleplay. We're not just... Illegal at the time.
This used to be so spicy. Look how we've changed.
Go to church. Yeah. And then people were making pets. The pound was a lot. People trying to argue, just... Cool. Have you ever had your ass eaten?
Think of the children.
So.
All right. So on that cheerful note, this is our contact information. We will be putting up resources and interesting things for you at the Linktree Gay Neopets. Add us on Neopets. Feel free to reach out to us if you have funny stories. If you think that you were the most avatars or were a winner, or if you think that you're a contender, come up to the front to us. Come to the Dargan Bori. We will judge you, and we will pass out prizes to those who are winners. Otherwise, thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you all.